Hi everyone! Welcome to Soup Dog Recipes. Today we're making Xin Jiang style lamb barbecue skewers. Just saying the name makes my mouth water. This is the most popular street food that you will find in the night markets when you visit Xin Jiang. It's pretty easy to make it at home, so let's get started. Lamb shoulder and leg are the best cut for making barbecue skewers because you can get some large chunks of meat out of them. I prefer to use shoulder because it has a higher fat ratio than the leg, but I couldn't find the shoulder today, and the leg will also work as long as you can pick a piece that still has a layer of fat on it. One thing that I'm quite upset about is that the meat that I get from the supermarket in USA around where I live, it doesn't feel fresh. It feels like it is pre-frozen and it has juice left in the bag like that. In China, the meat is mostly killed and sold the same day. Very fresh. I'm just too used to that. Anyway, this one still has bone inside. We'll have to debone it first. Make a nice long cut right through the middle to expose the femur bone. I don't have a boning knife, but this shouldn't be that difficult. Use the tip of the knife to peel as much meat as possible off the bone, then work around the joint to separate the meat from the tendons. There you go. Now you're left with a huge piece of boneless lamb leg. We'll use half of it today. The other half you can roast it or make stew with it. Cut the lamb into these 1-inch size pieces. Don't cut it too small or else it will dry out quickly while grilling. Also, stick to one side so they can be cooked evenly. This is what you will get at the end. Some are very lean. Some still have fat attached to it. That is okay because you will also have some excess trimmed off fat. You can put that in between the lean meat. If you don't like that much grease, you can also leave it out. Up to you. If you don't mind the gamey smell of the lamb, you can start putting the meat onto the skewer now and barbecue it right away. I like to add some onion slices, crush it a little bit in advance so the aroma can infuse the meat quickly. This is to help gentle some of that strong lamb smell. Also, the enzyme in the onion can tenderize the meat. I have seen people using onion puree instead of the slices. That way, the meat will be a bit too wet. When you put wet meat onto a hot grill, it will definitely stick onto the grill. Add 4 cloves of crushed garlic to richen the aroma. That is all we're using for the marinade. When making lamb skewers, I prefer to add the seasonings while you're grilling because the salt will pull out lots of moisture from the meat and you will lose the juiciness. If you insist to add the salt early, make sure you give it enough time, such as overnight, so the meat can absorb the moisture back. That way, your barbecue won't be dry. Cover it and let it sit for 40 minutes. While waiting, let's make the spice powder. Cumin is the main flavor in Xin Jiang style barbecue, but a good barbecue spice mix is not just one ingredient. A mix of different variety will introduce some nice complexity. So let's go ahead and add some Sichuan peppercorn, a teaspoon of fennel seeds, a teaspoon of white peppercorn. Black will also work. Toast that on low heat for 3 to 5 minutes. Be careful not to burn them. Put them in a spice blender. Blend it into a fine powder. I always prefer freshly ground spice mix. It makes a huge difference in taste. Put that in a bowl. To spice up my barbecue, I like to use some red chili flake. This is not that spicy, so I will mix it with some Face Heaven chili powder. It is known as the spiciest chili in China. Not too much, just a teaspoon is good enough for me. Oh, my mouth is watery now as I'm editing the video. The reason I didn't mix the chili flake with the spice powder is that it is more convenient for the people that don't eat spicy food. You know, when you make a feast, you should take care of everyone's taste bud. Besides that, you will need some salt, which we'll sprinkle it while you're grilling. That is all the ingredient, nothing too complicated. Now let's talk about the skewers. If you use the bamboo style, make sure to pick a thick one and soak it in water for at least 1 hour. If not, the bamboo will end up firing on the grill. You could wrap the bamboo stick with tin foil, but I found these metal skewers are much easier. They are reusable and good for the environment. Put the meat on and leave the onion in the bowl. Nothing special besides putting some fat in between the lean meat. That makes the barbecue more juicier. If your lamb is too lean and you don't have any excess fat, you can brush some cooking oil right before it hits the hot grill. You might ask, what can you do with the leftover onions? It is perfect to make Xin Jiang style lamb polof, so don't waste that. I'll put the video link in the description so you can check that recipe out. I suggest to set your grill on a high heat. The thermometer attachment on my grill shows it reaches 500 degrees Fahrenheit. If the temperature is too low, it will take much longer to char the meat and there is a higher chance that the lamb will be dried out. Now it is the time to add the salt. Be generous because some of the salt might fall off while cooking and turning. I will say for 2 pounds of meat, you will need at least 2 teaspoons of salt. When the meat hits the grill, it will stick immediately, but if the temperature is right and the surface of the meat is not too wet, the cast iron rack should release the meat when it is nicely charred. Look at that. So beautiful. Add more salt on this side as well. It will take a few minutes on each side for it to char. Once both sides have that nice color, the meat is about medium rare. The way I like is medium well, so I lower the distance of the charcoal, let the meat cook for a few minutes more, keep turning until it reaches the desired color or the doneness that you like. You can use a meat thermometer to check, but the lamb pieces are so small, so I just decided to go by the feeling. Once you think it is almost done, you can sprinkle the spice mix onto the meat. If you like spicy food, then sprinkle some of the chili flake. The heat should activate the fragrance of the spices immediately. Flip it over and sprinkle more on this side. Now it is ready. You just pick it up and pass it over to your friends and families. Seriously, there is nothing better than the barbecue that is right off the grill. The smell is amazing, the meat is juicy and fresh, you can taste the heat and the charred flavor. Every bite is just so satisfying. You know what really comforts me? Even I'm so far away from China, the food, the taste helps to calm my stomach down. I hope you give this a try soon. If you did, leave me a comment, let me know how it goes. As always, you can click the link in the description and find the printable recipe. Thank you for watching and I'll see you next time. Bye!